The ninja's combat art was called taijutsu. This is the art of using the body. Enormous endurance, the ability to take a hit, the ability to climb where nobody else could climb. This is a part of the historical training. That kind of intense training was just the foundation.
The ninja often operated under tremendous physical and mental stress, where the price of failure was death. To prepare, mind and body were trained until a ninja's edge was sharper than the blade they wielded.
In Japan, you don't ask questions, you wait to get the answers. So you get in the dojo, the first day you just learn some postures. You're like, what's this for? Well, you're already not learning if you're asking the question. In America, we want to ask questions. Well, you know, how do you do this? How do you do that? In Japan, you just train, and your teacher will give you those answers through learning. Sensei said that it takes, about 15 to 20 years to even get to that level. Perseverance to continue.
It is human nature to seek answers. The ninja often learned from what was unsaid, left to search for meaning while pondering the motives of the masters. It was a difficult and vital step on the path to enlightenment.
Itagaki just seems to have that personality and demeanor that he wants to create something that's really good but really challenging. And you're almost not just trying to beat the game, but you're trying to appease him and get his approval if you can actually survive.
I hate people that don't do their best. So when I'm challenging something and when I have a goal, I put everything that I have and all of my time into achieving that goal.
With Itagaki's games and with Team Ninja's production quality, it's never so much as simple as just working your way from one level to the next. There's always more stuff going on. There's always subquests to do and secrets to find and that kind of thing.
In Ninja Gaiden 2, you come to this gap in your path. A new user to the game isn't going to know that you're supposed to do the wall run to get past this gap. They're going to just kind of stand there and wonder what to do. Well, instead of just throwing up some tutorial text to say, here's how you do the wall run, they ended up having some enemies run towards them, do the wall run themselves, and then users were able to see that, defeat the enemies, do the wall run to get across that gap and keep playing the game. It's a great example of Team Ninja being able to create these engaging experiences that are teaching people how to play the game.
When Ninja Gaiden, the first one, was going through certification, they actually had to fly in a guy from Team Ninja to play the game for us because nobody here could get through us. And these are, game testers, people who play games for a living, and even they were just like, dude, call Japan, we need some help.
It challenges your sense of yourself as a gamer. Like, man, can I really play this game?
I picked up that game pretty early on. It kicked my butt a whole lot more than games of that ilk, which I kind of like that. I kind of like a game that pushes you to your limits.
I kept on playing and trying to get past it. That's usually the good indicator that even if a game is difficult, that it's still well made, is that you don't put down the controller and walk away from it. It was just me until 3 o'clock in the morning, fighting. And when you finally did get through it, you just felt like a hero.
People may say that it's a masterpiece, or people may say that they had issues with it, or people may have had parts where they were frustrated by it. The key, I think, for us is that we want to make something that people are waiting for.
A lot of people believe the first game was difficult in a frustrating way. One of our goals in the beginning of development was to approach it in a way that we could make the game accessible to as many gamers as possible.
The fact that there's this regenerating health bar that a lot of people associate with traditional style games like shooters, where you go run into a corner and you wait for your health to come back. And that change and the way that he's implementing it is a way to allow non-hardcore gamers to get into the game and play it and not feel deeply punished. But if you set it to the most difficult setting, it's not going to interfere. It's not going to be a different Ninja Gaiden experience in terms of the difficulty if you want it to be hard.
Hajime Sensei teaches that ninjutsu is the art of 1,000 forms and infinite variations. The weapons of the ninja were as diverse as they were deadly.
The ninja would employ tools that fit into the community in a way that maybe they didn't even look like a weapon.
We've got a number of great new weapons that are making their first appearance in Ninja Gaiden 2. The goal is to make every weapon good enough that you want to play the entire game through it. And you're going to feel like you're having a unique experience each time. We have the scythe.
What this is a long, heavy, powerful weapon that Hayabusa can wield that has a very large area of effect. It has a very wide arc. This is something that is very fun to wield, and it's very satisfying in terms of just being able to cut through enemies.
There are the claws.
What this basically does is turn Hayabusa into a human weapon.
He can run on walls, he can jump. Claws allow him to apply that to fighting.
All of his martial arts and all of his athletics and acrobatics are able to be used to attack the enemy.
The long bow back in ancient times was about 6 feet tall, which is actually taller than the people in those days. And it was a great weapon because they were everywhere, a walking staff. It didn't attract a lot of attention.
The lunar staff was a weapon that has appeared in previous games. Before, it was really just a staff. In Ninja Gaiden 2, it is a staff that has iron weights on each end that are connected with chains. And each of these iron weights have spikes, so, as you can imagine, as you're swinging this thing around, it is incredibly lethal.
The kusarigama was a very interesting weapon. On one end would be a blade on a handle sticking out, long chain, and on the end of the chain would be a weight.
The cool thing about this weapon is you can not only do cutting attacks with the sickle portion of it, but you can also do pulverizing and smashing attacks with the iron weight that's attached on the end.
And so in the heat of battle, this weight thrown at an attacker would hit, aiming at the hands, very fragile bones there, holding a sword, or the face, something that would make that attacker flinch. Could you imagine the terror that the swordsman felt? And all of a sudden, here's this hit to the face. Where did that come from?
You have the tonfa. It was what the nightstick is based off. You hold them in each hand and it's swung to hit enemies. And this is really cool because it's a hitting action, not a slicing action. So when that connects with an enemy, you're gonna feel that crack.
These are weapons of Okinawan origin. You hold them in both hands and swing them. They're very similar to the claws in that they're very speedy and can hit the enemy multiple times. With the tonfas, you can actually pulverize that limb into basically ground meat.
Very important to combat in ancient Japan was the Japanese sword, the katana. It was used on foot by samurai in later years. So that was the #1 weapon. And the ninja, of course, had to be very familiar, defending against that sword, but also using swords themselves.
In the first game, the dragon sword was pretty much considered the default weapon and the best weapon. And if you wanted to get through the game easily, use the dragon sword.
You'll notice that the dragon sword this time around is a lot more flexible. It has a lot more moves. It can really be a signature weapon for Hayabusa and is a great partner to all the obliteration techniques.
There was a skill of fighting with 2 swords at the same time, and so you can imagine how confusing that would be to an enemy who's used to seeing just one at a time.
The dual katanas were present in Ninja Gaiden Sigma, but in that game they were incomplete. It didn't have a lot of moves, and there were very few things that you could do with it. This time around, though, we were obviously re-envisioning it as a completely new weapon. You have obliteration techniques, and there are so many more things that you can do with this weapon, so I certainly encourage everyone to get their hands on a new dual katanas.
The ninja, so lethal with body and blade, were known as invisible warriors, a tribute to their concealment skills and a lack of true knowledge about them. Rumors spoke of ninja who used magic to disappear, walk across water, or strike down an enemy.
Well, the term ninjutsu, jutsu means an art or a technique. And then there's another term, ninpo. Ninpo would be the magic of knowing how the universe and the inhabitants, the people and the animals and the weather and everything, knowing how that works. And so that is the traditional magic of the ninja.
Ninpo is supposed to be ninja magic. And I think a lot of people in the first game felt like, yeah, they were cool, but, you know, it was really a take it or leave it kind of thing.
What we've tried to do in this game is make sure that each one has its own individual purpose and make sure that although the ninpos are, of course, designed to kill enemies, that you really get the satisfaction and feeling that you finish an enemy off.
The new game, you want to use them, right? You want to be constantly pushing that ninpo button because it's just so badass what happens.
In Ninja Gaiden 2, when you use the Art of the Inferno, which is the fire ninpo, and you hit an enemy with it, that enemy will be enveloped in flames and will run screaming on fire until it finally burns to death.
We have a ninpo in Ninja Gaiden 2 called the Wind Blades. Shoots out blades of wind that cuts the enemy into pieces.
Itagaki-san came to me and said, the enemy should be just cut into pieces. Just cut him into shreds. And so when we were thinking about how to best achieve that, he came to me with this comic book and said, look at this. Here's one way you could do it.
Itagaki-san first came to me to explain what he wanted this Wind Blades ninpo to be. I didn't really understand what he was getting at. I couldn't really conceive what he was looking for. It wasn't until we went through several versions and it became what it is right now that I finally got it and said, oh, I see. This is what he was shooting for.
There are a lot of these ninja skills that look supernatural or impossible, but actually they're grounded in reality. For instance, ninja are heard of as walking on water. Well, how would you do that? In the marshes of Iga, there are a lot of plants that grow there in shallow water. There could be a construction that a ninja would use. It looks like a great big giant raft that could be strapped to a foot. And by sliding those, they would push the plant growth down and create some stability for themselves. Now, when you look at it, it looks like the ninja is walking on water.
We've made it so that he can not only run on water, but he's going to be a very effective fighting force on top of the water. Every weapon will have its own unique attack that is used when you're in and around the water, so that we can add even more depth to that portion of the game.
Ninja Gaiden 1 was the first action game that we ever did. We knew that there was a ton of things that needed to be improved on, and that was just something we had to do.
Despite the fact that the first Ninja Gaiden was known as an amazing game and a masterpiece by a lot of gamers out there, we didn't necessarily share that sentiment inside the team.
Itagaki-san and other people on the team felt like Ninja Gaiden 2 should be really unique in its visual presentation, so that every background that you look at, you're thinking, wow.
You have ninjas fighting monsters in the middle of New York. It's a mix of historical accuracy mixed with fantasy and science fiction and lots of horror elements as well.
What we do is we send people to New York to take pictures. We send people to Mount Fuji to go and take shots. And we include those so that you can know immediately, oh, that's Mount Fuji. I know exactly what that is.
This is what makes the difference between a good game and a great game.
Obviously, some locations in the game were inspired by traditional Japanese architecture. The Hayabusa village, we tried to kind of give the essence of what a period village might have looked like. But the majority of the game takes place on a worldwide stage. For Ninja Gaiden 2, we're trying to create something that can really be a masterpiece that will show off everything that this team is about.
Making a game is a process where if there are 100 elements, 90 of them are created pretty much automatically. It's the remaining 10% that is the key. That's what defines if it's a good game or not. Those are the hardest things to lock in. Those are the hardest things to do, and that's my job. And that's one of the hardships I go through.
The pursuit of perfection is the chosen journey of many great minds. Whether designing a video game or planning a battle, the success or failure of such pursuit is often found in the details.
The ninja would be out in the field and needed to be able to interpret intelligence as they went along. They had to have their hand, their mind, their perceptions on what's going on, and then make up their mind as they went along.
Itagaki-san likes to be aware of all facets and all parts, whether it's the game development, some of the marketing, the design, the colors. It's just such a thrill for everyone, all teams involved, when he does come to Microsoft, because it's our opportunity to meet the man, the legend.
So the very first time we got a build, the only way he was comfortable bringing it was physically carrying a disc with him on his person.
I want to officially welcome you to Microsoft for today's playtest session. Today you will be playing Ninja Gaiden 2. As you play through the game, I want to let you know that there will be a developer here watching you play. As you play through the game, please do so as you normally would if you were playing it at home.
What we do is we bring these folks into our playtest labs, and they sit down, they play the game, and they give us feedback about how difficult it is. It was exciting to watch Itagaki-san in our labs and to talk to him about how people were playing the game. We're able to provide him with that data about, here's how difficult your normal level is, here's how difficult Master Ninja is, here's how difficult the easy level is.
We can determine early on, are users actually having fun in the game, or what elements do they struggle in the game?
At first it was a little bit easy, but then they switched it to like some really difficult mode, I think, and it got really hard. It took me like at least 45 minutes to get used to it and learn some more moves, and then once I learned them, I got much better.
It's difficult, but I like that, like a challenge. Challenges your imagination and how you can end up beating what you're stuck on. Eventually, when you beat it, you're happy about it and you're like, yeah, I did that.
I like how it looks like it's real. The fact that it looks like real ninjas doing it and fighting each other, and it's cool to experience it.
The beauty of the game and just the style of it is what will appeal to more casual gamers. But if you don't have the hardcore stamp on it, you're not gonna sell copies. I mean, and that's what they will do.
A hardcore gamer, yeah, they'll end up spending half the night
with a dozen donuts and I had 12 pack of soda. And in a normal game, I'll just sit there with a soda and maybe a bag of chips. It's a very good game, very challenging, which is a good quality in a game for me. I don't like games that are so easy that you just walk right through and it's done.
Any action game worth its salt is gonna have smart AI and really, really tough enemies. But you're rewarded with like amazing, battles and buckets of blood.
He's creating a game that's pushing his team, that's pushing the engine, that's pushing the graphics in the way that he's trying to push players.
When faced with a great challenge, the ability to focus is paramount. The past and the future hold no sway.
The concept of nakaima, being right in the moment, the middle of now, the middle of the moment is so important. The mind wants to project forward. How can I win this? Or the mind projects backward. Oh, what did I do wrong? And this is a way to defeat. What we have to do is be of that pure mind, right in the middle of this moment.
If I have something that needs to be done, then I'll do it. Like if you told me to make a game based on these 3 cushions here, I'm willing to bet you that I could come up with a game designed better than anybody about how to use these 3 cushions in a game. And if I've set my sight on doing that, I'll do it. I'll be very serious and very focused about making that.
Itagaki, most of the time, can back up what he says. If he was putting out crap but talking smack, he'd look foolish. But he doesn't do that. He makes great games, and I don't see Ninja Gaiden 2 being any different.
Since the original Ninja Gaiden came out on the Xbox, that the amount of people that are playing video games and have more of an appetite for something challenging like this has grown, and I think as more awareness of this game occurs, that there's going to be a general sense of, okay, we want to play this game.
I'm most proud of the fact that this game has become that much stronger in its impact, that much more visceral. Something that just reaches out and grabs you in every aspect.
I treat everything as if it was a game with a clear winner and loser, and I want to do things where I can win. I'm confident that I can do what I've set out to do, and I know that people are going to enjoy it.